between
let's get this going right now.
yeah, tape and the computer.
That's great.
But yeah.
Say that again. What was it?
Oh, Dale's ADATs. Yeah,
Okay.
I had a whole big closet full of these big VHS. You could actually record them on high def VHS tapes, but they actually had it was called ADATs, and it was like these 8-track machines that you would link all together. It didn't really catch on. It was almost like the laser disc of recording. Yeah, it was in between like tape and the computer because it was digital, but it was not good because the tapes were like it was just bulky and big and everything like that. But yeah, we can do it right here or whatever.
Sure.
I'll tell you my first. I gotta say, I'm stoked to meet you, man.
Yeah, cool.
First time I heard your music, I didn't even know where Chico was or what Chico was.
Oh, okay. So you're not from here.
I'm not, and I was living in Berkeley.
Okay,
and
cool.
it hit the radio, like the kind of like local kind of radio scene there.
Uh-huh.
For like 2 weeks, it was like every hour.
Really?
It was like.
That's how you heard of Chico, right?
Actually, no.
105.
Yeah, exactly, and it was like, it was Hello Allison,
yeah, Aaron Axel,
and it was
a
like
really big
01.
Yeah,
something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was living in Berkeley at that time, and I remember it was my girlfriend's favorite song, everything. And then I came up to Chico, and I was here for like 3 years, and then know some people. I worked at the Grad for like 6 years.
Brian Levinton.
Yeah. So I know those guys, and then they started bringing up that Scapegoat Wax was from Chico, and I was like, no shit.
Yeah. The whole thing kind of just started out of here, you know.
Yeah.
It was just like all Chico.
One Block Radius.
Yeah, One Block Radius, but Scapegoat really was more of like a Chico thing because when it started One Block, I was living in LA, you know, at that point. It was but Chico was like the original sound was based out of here, so the whole groundswell was out of here. You know, it was really cool. You guys want to pour? Sure. You guys want a Great White or? Are you?
Oh, I'm good, thank you.
I got bottled water too.
It's a Great White. Great White wine.
Beer. It's one of the best beers you can get.
Yeah.
I have not had one. I will have one.
That's when I don't know what's in the cooler, but I see a Great White. Okay, I'll grab that.
Hey, my little brother says he knows you. I don't know. Sean Bunce. Have you heard of him?
Oh, yeah. Did he play baseball with him or something?
I don't know how he knows you, but he's like, oh, you're telling why. I'm like, I don't know.
I think I played baseball. I think he knows my little brother.
He's a big dude.
Yeah. I think he knows my little brother.
All right.
Thanks for the beer.
Yeah, no problem.
This is our maybe 40th interview.
Cool.
Maybe 30.
And
what's the basis of the project? Just talking about music and Chico?
Yeah.
For
documentary.
It started about as an idea of like a 5-6 minute video where we just get I want to see local musicians work more.
Right.
To brand the town.
Yeah.
And get people coming here.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because we're feeding off each other. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I was really into doing that. You know, at the time when I first started. But you know, you hit sort of a ceiling, and it's like you can kind of be like big fish in a small pond, or you can kind of just keep pushing. And I mean, I don't know if you have any specific questions, but the Chico scene. What I was trying to do, there wasn't anybody else doing it at the time, you know, and the studios here didn't really know how to guide me to make the stuff I wanted to make. I was listening to rap music and NWA and Public Enemy and all that, and Cypress Hill and stuff, and I wanted to learn how to take break beats and put them with samples, and I would go to studios here, and there were nice recording facilities in town, but there was more, you know, rock band, studio, you know, live miking stuff, not samplers, sequencers, you know, that kind of stuff. So I sort of had to branch out. I started creating, you know, my demos in San Francisco, and I would drive there for like the day, save up money, and just like go, you know, record, you know, 3-4 songs in one day that I would have prepared. I'd like take this Dr. John sample and put it with these drums from so-and-so, and you know, I'd have all these songs already written and just record them all at once. And I would, you know, start just sending them out to everybody. But I went from Chico to Vallejo, which I lived there and worked, you know, under one of my mentors, this dude Johnny Z, who kind of took me under his wing. He had this group In Too Deep, and I learned a lot about, you know, the recording the MPC. I really learned it from there, and the recording the tape and everything like that. But I can get more in depth with, you know.
Well, you're a songwriter,
yeah,
and a rapper,
right? Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. In my younger days, I would consider myself more of a rapper. You know, now I feel like, you know, I felt like I started to break out more when I started adding melody into my raps. That's when I was just rapping. I felt like, you know, I hit a point where I'm like, you know, all my favorite rappers and stuff. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be Rakim, or if I'm ever gonna be, you know, even Big Daddy Kane or one of these guys. But and I also grew up listening to a lot, you know, the Hall & Oates, Michael Jackson's, Prince, you know, even rock stuff, Bon Jovi and all that. And I always liked melody and you know, I went through a teenage phase where it was like hip hop, F everything else, you know. But really, you know, at my core, I always loved music. I always loved chords. I always loved melody and everything. And once I started to mix those together, I think is when I started to separate myself. Because at that time, in the early 2000s, you know, I was really inspired musically by Beck, Sublime, you know, Outkast, right? When they were first coming out, and that was to me like, oh man, this is the shit right here, because this is a little bit of everything, you know. And that's when music kind of became like this like crazy blender of all these different sounds, and that I related to that a lot, you know. And yeah, you know, I feel like that's sort of when I started to go like, okay, I can do this, you know. And I really, you know, took to the, like, you know, creating the samples of, you know, or you know, taking samples and making a song out of like this little guitar stab with this horn stab and pitching them up and down and just getting into the intricacies of what it, you know, how to make melodies and songs. And, you know, I just always liked that stuff. And yeah, just, you know, I mean, the short version was, you know, I just really fell in love with hip hop and rap music. And like I said, I found some buddies here that felt the same, you know. And music at that time, before it became like my job, it was just, you know, create with whoever you felt natural with, you know, whoever you gravitated towards, whoever you felt comfortable enough to, like, you know, say a rhyme in front of or make a beat in front of, you know. And you know, we had this little crew of guys, and we were, you know, sometimes we would sing, sometimes we would rap, and we sucked, you know what I mean, like, at that time. But we would come home from school every day, and I would have this drum machine that my buddy let me borrow, you know. Even before that, it was like, you know, I had this little Casio keyboard, and I would sample, like, I would put the microphone up to a sample that I wanted to take, and I had a little 4-track that I got at Radio Shack, and I would, like, you know, it would go boo doo doo boo boo doo, and I would record that in and boo doo boo 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 doo boo doo boo boo doo for 4 minutes, you know, on the 4-track, just loop it myself, and then I'd say something over it, and then I would have to, if I wanted to recreate that, I would have to, you know, it was basically like do it every time fresh, you know. And then I started to get more into, like, you know, the SP1200, which was like my first drum machine, which only had 10 seconds of sound on it, and you know, 10 seconds of sampling on it. And that's when I started to, you know, that's kind of when things became more, you know, professional, I guess, for me. Is when I started to make that transition to the SP1200 and go through records, and the sonics got better. But I was, you know, I'd come home from school, like I said, every day, and just get on the SP1200. I would go to Melody Records when it was over by Woodstocks at the time. And let me get a paper towel, because I'm like,
Woodstocks isn't even there now.
yeah, now Woodstocks isn't even there anymore. Yeah, I would like.
Normal Street Bar.
I'm gonna open a window in here, but
I don't know what happened to Normal Street Bar, but
Normal Street.
One day it was just gone.
Yeah,
there's lots of things.
Yeah, they had a lot of crazy shit going on over there.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Nobody lost.
I never got a great vibe in there. It was always too much macho.
My friend got shot in the head outside
there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Chad
Onstar,
yeah.
He. There was always some crazy shit going on there.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, pretty much, you know. I started off very small, Casio SK1. I would go to the studios here, and like I said, they could record my voice, and they could, you know, the facilities were nice. Like, they had nice tape machines, nice boards, nice microphones. But I would be like, how do I put this drum beat with this? And even they up here, they were like, I think they have things like synchronizers or something, and you know, I think what he meant was like sequencers. But I was kind of I kind of felt like I couldn't get everything I wanted to get, so I started going to the Bay and recording there, and I would have these 3-4 song demos, shoot them out to everybody. But yeah, that actually, you know, it's such a long story. I'm like not even sure exactly how.
What's a current project or something rather recent that you're really proud of? That you just feel like, you know, is a good example of.
Yeah, currently, you know, I mean, I've been working with a lot of like international people recently, and so, you know, it's really cool to like go to Miami and record. I did a bunch of stuff with like Enrique Iglesias and Pitbull, and it's like, you know, for me it was just more of like a proud, like, hey, you know, my music that started in this bedroom in Chico, now I'm like working with these guys that are, based out of you know, Miami, and they're from Spain, and they're from all over the place, and you know, I'm working with these dudes that are from, you know, all around the globe. You know, I mean, you know, it's not my project per se, so it's, you know, they always have the call, you know, they always have the final say as far as like what the music is going to be. And you know, I feel like, you know, when you're co-writing with people, you know, you kind of, it's a push and pull, you know. But I mean, for me, that's something that was like really big, you know, for my family too. Like, I'm actually half Mexican, and just he's such a huge Latin star that it was just like, you know, it's just a really big thing, you know, working on Snoop Dogg. It's like I grew up in Chico listening to Snoop Dogg at, you know, my buddy's house, and when his first album came out, we were just like, man, Snoop is that dude. And then I'm like making videos with Snoop Dogg, you know, those kinds of things. It's almost like landmarkish, because you're so familiar with those people that you're like, oh man, I'm like chilling with this guy that I grew up listening to, you know. But you know, musically, I still like to just create with my friends and find those people that you just naturally, you know, kick it with. I have a new project that I've been working off and on, and not doing as much as I want, but it's called Martell, and it's just I have my buddy Matt Price, and we've just been creating this stuff that feels really natural. It's like a new school Hall & Oates kind of thing, and it kind of taken me back to that vibe of like, because you know, once you get in the music industry, you kind of don't want to, but you have to play by a lot of rules of because there's people funding things, and you know, you're kind of rolling with, you know, other people's ideas sometimes, and it's just nice to get that vibe back to, you know, feeling like what, you know, just doing whatever feels natural. And I'm at a point in my life where I can do that, and it feels good for me to, you know, be able to do that again. Because, you know, like I was saying, you know, when you first start out, you pretty much just gravitate towards who you want to work with. Then when it becomes your job, you know, it's your 9 to 5. It's like you have to be here at this time. You're going to be working with this person, and it gets and then some days you might not even feel creative, but you still got to go create, you know. And before it was just like you just kind of make a song whenever I feel like it, but then it becomes like almost a numbers game. Like you gotta start cranking stuff out regularly. So, but yeah, you know, I'm proud of all my work. It's all different, you know. Everything kind of has its place for me. You know, there's a place and time. It's like I'm really proud to work with like international, you know, big artists like that. But I also take a lot of pride in the underground stuff that I work on. You know, the living legends and the stuff with Grouch. And why am I so hot? I guess it's just because I'm talking on camera, you know. But yeah, you know, I think all that stuff, it all kind of has a place in your heart, you know. I mean, there's things, if I was going to put like my best songs ever, I would take some of it from the Scapegoat days, some of it from, you know, my One Block Radius, you know, albums. I would take some of it from stuff I did, you know, with underground hip hop dudes, and some of it, you know, with some of the more pop stuff I've done. You know, I feel like it all means something to me, you know, but it's also all very, you know, obviously my artistic stuff that I'm putting my voice on is always means a little bit more, because it's you know, you're actually, you know, you're putting your voice on there. Whatever you say, people are hearing you. You're your own person. But yeah, I mean,
how about in what ways do you think Chico was a good place for you to get your chops in?
Yeah. I figured, you know, I guess the more focus on the Chico stuff is because I got all of my, let me use the restroom really quick.
Yeah, sure.
I got a lot of my, you know, ideas from here, my ideals and stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.